There are evenings when the house grows so quiet that even the sound of your own breath feels louder than usual. You walk into the kitchen not because you're truly hungry, but because something inside feels tired, or a little empty, or simply in need of grounding. A piece of bread, a sweet, a bit of chocolate. They sit there like small companions waiting to offer comfort. And perhaps no one ever told you this, but these moments are not signs of weakness. They are not failures. They are the body speaking softly, in the only language it has left after 60, 70, 80 years of carrying you through life. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, who lived more than a century and cared for thousands of elders, used to say that the body after 60 whispers instead of shouting. It no longer sends dramatic alarms. It sends gentle signals, a craving here, a sudden drop of energy there, a longing for something salty or sweet, long before any real trouble arrives. And most people overlook these signs because no one taught them to listen. Instead, many blame themselves. I have no discipline. I'm too old to change. Why do I always reach for bread at night? But what if these cravings were not the enemy? What if they were messages, small and honest, asking for minerals or steadier energy, or a moment of comfort that the day couldn't give you? Dr. Andrew Weil, another respected voice in integrative medicine, explains that the first signs of internal imbalance often appear in our appetite, long before a test result or a diagnosis. The body tries to correct itself gently. It asks for magnesium through a chocolate craving. It asks for steadier energy through a sudden desire for bread. It asks for emotional calm through a longing for something sweet at the end of a long day. These are not random impulses. They are clues. And that is why this conversation matters so deeply. Because when you understand what these cravings are trying to tell you, you no longer feel lost in front of the pantry, judging yourself. You begin to respond with care instead of guilt. You begin to interpret your body the way you'd listen to an old friend who has finally decided to share something delicate. This video is an invitation to decode those messages, to understand why bread, sweets, chocolates, salty snacks, or fast food call your name, especially in the later years of life. And it's also an invitation to discover gentler, simpler alternatives that don't punish your cravings, but answer them. Many older adults carry a silent burden, the belief that they are at fault for wanting certain foods. They think it's lack of willpower. They think they should know better. But cravings after 60 rarely come from desire alone. They come from nutritional gaps, from low energy reserves, from emotional fatigue, from years of pushing through pain without support. They come from loneliness, from long afternoons with no one to talk to, from grief that still lingers in the corners of the home, from a body that wants to keep going but needs a little more help. And here is the gentle promise of our time together. Once you learn what these signals mean, you can nourish your body in ways that calm the mind, protect your energy, and make daily life feel less confusing. Not by eliminating foods, not by dieting, not by forcing anything, but by understanding, by listening, by responding with kindness. You are not alone in these cravings. You have never been alone. And as we move through each part of this journey, bread, sweets, chocolate, salty foods, you may begin to see your body not as something failing, but as something trying its best to communicate, to guide you, to stay strong for you. It's possible. It's still possible. One step, one understanding, one gentle choice at a time. When you're ready, we'll begin with the first message your body may be sending, the quiet pull toward bread, and what it's really telling you about your energy and minerals. When bread, especially soft white varieties, becomes a frequent craving, the body may be trying to refill what has slowly been emptied. After 60, energy reserves shift more easily. Muscles lose minerals. Digestion becomes more delicate. What once stayed balanced without much effort now fluctuates with the weather, with sleep, with emotion. Bread provides quick relief, quick comfort, but the relief fades because it doesn't nourish the deeper needs beneath the craving. And that gentle rise and fall, that brief lift followed by sluggishness, is the body's way of saying, what I'm asking for is steadier than this. Behind this craving, there is often a whisper from magnesium or the B vitamins, nutrients that support the nervous system, keep energy steady, and help the mind stay clear. When they run low, the body searches for anything that feels grounding, even if only for a moment. Bread becomes a symbol of stability, a temporary handrail, and when fiber is low, glucose rises and falls quickly, creating an even stronger pull towards starch. Not because you are doing anything wrong, but because your body is trying to fill a gap the only way it knows how. In places where people age with strength and simplicity, bread carries a different role. It rarely appears alone. It sits beside foods that steady the system. A small piece of fish, a handful of nuts, a spoon of yogurt alternative, a bit of olive oil. These pairings soften the impact of the starch and extend the feeling of nourishment. This tradition isn't about rules. It is about balance learned over generations, where bread becomes part of a whole rather than a quick fix. A smaller piece of whole grain or sourdough bread combined with something gentle like peanut butter, avocado, or a boiled egg alternative changes the experience entirely. The minerals and healthy fats slow digestion, give the body the steadiness it was searching for, and reduce that feeling of chasing energy throughout the day. This is not a diet. It is not a restriction. It is simply an act of answering the body with what it truly asked for in the first place. And perhaps the most important part of this craving is not nutritional at all, but emotional. Bread often appears in moments of loneliness, or at the end of a long day when the house feels too big and the memories feel too close. Think of this craving as a gentle knock at the door, not a warning, not a problem. Just your body asking quietly and sincerely for the kind of energy that lasts longer than a moment. If these quiet signals from your body are helping you understand yourself a little better, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next gentle insight that can steady your days. When sweetness calls in these moments, it often mirrors something happening deep within the nervous system. After 60, energy rhythms shift more quickly, and the chemicals that help regulate mood and calm, like serotonin, don't flow with the same ease they once did. The body tries to lift itself gently, the way someone might light a small candle in a darkening room. A cookie, a piece of cake, a handful of candy. It can bring relief, but only for a short while. The deeper need remains, quietly asking for steadier support. Low tryptophan, irregular cortisol rhythms, and even mild dehydration often sit beneath these cravings. Translated into everyday experience, this means the body may be a little more stressed than it appears on the outside, or carrying a quiet tension from the day. It means sleep might not have restored what you hoped it would. It means that long periods of sitting or thinking or worrying have left the system looking for a soft landing. Sweetness is one of the fastest ways the body knows to soothe itself, especially when emotional fatigue hangs over the evening. Across the Mediterranean, elders have long responded to sweet cravings with a tenderness that reflects their understanding of balance. A small fig with walnuts, a peach with a few almonds, fruit paired with fat. Nothing dramatic, nothing overwhelming. These combinations offer sweetness wrapped in stability, allowing energy to rise gently without crashing. There is wisdom in these habits, a way of honoring both the craving and the body at the same time. Simple, comforting options can echo this same rhythm. A few berries, a sliced banana with a touch of nut butter, warm apples sprinkled with cinnamon, filling the kitchen with a scent that can soften even the heaviest day. These choices provide sweetness, yes, but also something deeper, a steadier fuel, a calmer heart, and a sense of being cared for, even if by your own hands. Sweet cravings, in truth, are less about sugar and more about the soul. They resemble a flickering lamp, the kind that needs a steadier current to shine. When this craving appears, it is often the body saying, "I'm tired. I need comfort that lasts longer than a moment." And when that message is understood instead of judged, something shifts. The craving no longer feels like an enemy. It becomes a signal, an invitation, a reminder that the nervous system too needs gentleness in the later chapter of life. Hidden beneath this craving is the story of magnesium, a mineral that supports relaxation, mood steadiness, and deep sleep. As the years pass, magnesium reserves can slip away more easily, especially in times of stress or muscle tension. When levels dip, the body begins to seek it out in the only language it knows. Chocolate becomes the messenger. The desire grows not because of indulgence, but because the body remembers that true cacao holds what the muscles and nerves are missing. Yet the versions most people reach for are often filled with sugars and additives that create more cravings later, leaving the deeper need unanswered. Magnesium's role is simple but profound. It softens tight muscles, it quiets overactive nerves, it helps the mind exhale after a long day. When it runs low, the entire system feels a little more fragile. a little more reactive. The craving for chocolate is sometimes the body's way of saying, I need help unwinding. I need something steadier than tension. Understanding this removes the shame. It brings compassion back into the picture, because what the body seeks is nourishment, not indulgence. In parts of South America, where cacao has been cherished for centuries, elders use it in quiet, restorative ways. A warm drink made with true cacao, lightly sweetened, taken slowly. It comforts without overstimulating. It nourishes without leaving the body heavy. This tradition carries wisdom. Respect the cacao for its minerals, not for its sugar. Allow it to support you rather than rush you. When the craving arrives, small and thoughtful choices can shift its meaning. A few squares of dark chocolate with 70% cacao or higher. A warm drink made from cacao powder stirred into milk alternatives. A small portion paired with nuts, so the minerals move through the body more steadily. These are gentle acts that respond to the body's whisper, rather than chasing a quick taste. They don't silence the craving, they answer it. The emotional truth beneath chocolate cravings is perhaps the most revealing. They often appear when the heart is tired, or when the day has placed too much weight on the shoulders. They come when sleep hasn't restored what was lost. They come when thoughts are heavy, or when memories resurface at unexpected hours. Craving chocolate in these moments is like the body whispering, I'm worn down, I need comfort, but I also need support. It is a request, not a flaw. When salty cravings appear repeatedly, they often point to something deeper than appetite. After 60, hydration becomes more delicate, and the body's ability to regulate minerals like sodium and potassium changes subtly. Sleep becomes lighter. Meals may be smaller or spaced further apart. Protein intake, especially early in the day, can decrease without anyone noticing. All these shifts create a gentle internal imbalance. The body begins searching for something that will ground it quickly, something salty, something crisp, something that wakes up the senses. The craving acts like an internal echo, a sign that the system wants to find its equilibrium again. Sodium and potassium play a quiet but powerful role in this story. They help regulate energy, stabilize mood, and support the nervous system. When hydration is low or meals lack balance, the craving for salt can intensify, not because the body wants junk food, but because it's trying to restore the minerals it needs to stay steady. Healthy fats tell a similar story. When meals are too light or spaced too far apart, the body searches for something richer to help it feel anchored again. Fast food becomes appealing not because of flavor alone, but because it mimics the grounding sensation the body is missing. In regions known for longevity, this craving is met with simple, nourishing traditions. Olives with a touch of brine, fermented vegetables that are both tangy and rich in minerals, small servings of roasted legumes warm and satisfying. These foods offer the same comfort of saltiness, but carry a steadier kind of nourishment. They provide potassium, healthy fats, natural sodium, and a sense of fullness without overwhelming the body with heavy oils or deep-fried textures. This approach isn't about restriction. It's about understanding what the body is truly reaching for. Gentle alternatives can echo this balance in everyday life. Roasted chickpeas with a soft crunch, salted nuts that offer both minerals and healthy fats, pickled vegetables that awaken the palate while hydrating the system. A ripe avocado with lemon and a pinch of salt, creamy and grounding. These options don't replace the craving. They answer it with something that supports the body rather than exhausting it. They bring the steadiness the body was quietly seeking in the first place. Perhaps the most revealing part of salty cravings is the emotional message woven beneath them. These cravings often appear during times of stress, fatigue, or emotional heaviness. Moments when the body feels overwhelmed or the mind feels scattered. They can arise after long periods of silence, after challenging appointments, or during evenings when memories return uninvited. In these moments, the craving becomes less about salt and more about grounding. It is the body sending a small flare, a signal that something inside needs to be replenished, held, or steadied. With time, these cravings begin to reflect the deeper rhythms of aging. They reveal where energy is slipping, where minerals need replenishing, where sleep hasn't repaired what the night hoped to restore. Bread may call to someone whose energy feels uneven, or whose meals lack the stability that once came easily. Sweetness may tug at the late afternoon hours, when serotonin dips quietly, leaving the mind searching for comfort. Chocolate may become appealing when magnesium reserves have thinned, leaving muscles tighter and the mind less able to settle. Saltiness may surface when hydration has fallen behind or when the day has left the nervous system scattered and ungrounded. When these cravings are understood with kindness instead of judgment, a new clarity appears. The confusion that so many older adults feel around eating begins to dissolve. There is no need to blame oneself for wanting a roll, a cookie, or a handful of chips. The body is not misbehaving. It is communicating. It is saying, in the most familiar language it has left, that something inside needs steadiness, care, or replenishment. Dan Buettner spent years observing people who age with strength and grace in long-lived communities, and his findings echo this truth. In those places, cravings were never treated as battles. Food was not split into categories of guilt and virtue. Instead, cravings were met with modest, nourishing choices that honored both the desire and the body. A few nuts with fruit, a cup of warm cacao, beans or legumes prepared simply, a small portion of something salty that offered minerals rather than heaviness. This approach carried no punishment, no shame. It was rooted in an understanding that the body seeks balance, not extremes. If these quiet signals from your body resonate with you, consider subscribing so we can continue exploring aging with wisdom and calm. This perspective offers something comforting to anyone who has ever stood in front of the pantry, wondering why the same cravings return. It means those moments are not signs of failure. They are not evidence of aging in a negative sense. They are opportunities to notice, to understand, and to respond with a little more tenderness. When cravings are answered with nourishment instead of guilt, the body feels safer, the mind feels steadier, energy begins to stretch farther into the day, and this becomes especially meaningful for those who carry the emotional weight that often accompanies aging. Loneliness, the absence of a partner who once shared meals, children who live far away, quiet days that linger too long. These experiences settle into the body, shaping appetite and cravings in ways rarely acknowledged. To honor cravings with compassion is also to honor the emotions beneath them. It is a way of saying, I hear you, I understand. Let me offer you something steady.